Oh, I see what's coming.
You're coming.
I see that. That's going to be for my husband. I just have a feeling.
No.
I just have a feeling. I just know.
it. These are pissed.
Yes, for the love of my life.
Yes.
Yeah, we might renew our vows with him wearing these.
Yes.
Thank you. This is very meaningful.
Thank you. See, I love it.
So let's talk about what we just watched, because that wasn't just a cute moment. That was a moment. You had Sean and Marley, two genuinely joyful, creative, kind-hearted gentlemen, meeting Meghan, Duchess of Sussex. And instead of it being stiff, awkward, overly formal, it turned into something real, something funny, something human. And somehow in the middle of all that, a pair of colorful Aussie bum underwear became the star of the show. Now pause, because if you tried to script that, it would sound ridiculous. It wouldn't pass a production meeting. Someone would say, this is too random, too unserious, too off-brand. And yet, that's exactly why it worked. Sean and Marley showed up exactly as themselves. No filtering, no pretending, no trying to fit into some rigid idea of how you're supposed to act around someone like Meghan. They brought gifts, yes, but not the usual, predictable, polite, safe gifts. They brought personality. They brought humor. They brought joy. And Meghan? She met them right there. That's the part that matters. Because she could have gone the formal route, a polite smile, a quick thank you, move along, next person. That's what people expect. That's what traditional royal interactions have trained audiences to see. Controlled, measured, careful. But instead, she looked at that gift, clocked the humor instantly, and leaned into it. For the love of my life, then joking about renewing vows with Harry wearing them. That's not just funny, that's ease. That's someone who is comfortable enough to be playful in the moment, to not take themselves too seriously, to allow space for other people's personalities to shine. And you could see it immediately in Sean and Marley's reaction. That kind of joy you can't fake, that did that really just happen excitement? That feeling of being seen, not managed. Because, let's be honest for a second, a lot of public interactions, especially at that level, can feel transactional. Smile, shake hands, exchange a few words, keep it moving. There's a script, even if it's unspoken. But this broke the script. This was two people bringing their authentic energy, and Meghan responding with authenticity right back. No hierarchy in that moment, no distance, just connection. And then the hug. That hug said everything, because you can't fake warmth like that. You can't manufacture that kind of ease and sincerity. It's either there or it isn't. And in that moment, it was very much there. And this is exactly why Sean and Marley resonated with so many people in the first place. Let's rewind a bit. Their one-pot pasta video wasn't just about cooking. It wasn't about technique or perfection or presentation. It was about joy, pure, unfiltered enjoyment of something simple. Two people in a kitchen, having fun, hyping each other up, celebrating something as ordinary as pasta, like it's the greatest thing ever created. And people responded to that because it felt good to watch. In a world where everything is polished, curated, and often overly serious, that kind of energy stands out. It's refreshing. It's comforting. It reminds people that not everything has to be complicated to be meaningful. So, when they recreated Meghan's recipe, it wasn't just a cooking video, it became a bridge, a connection point between them and Meghan built on something simple, accessible, and joyful. And Meghan noticing them, that matters. Because recognition changes things. It tells creators, especially smaller or independent ones, that what they're doing is being seen, that their joy, their effort, their creativity, it reaches people. And taking it a step further by meeting them, that turns a viral moment into a lasting memory. Now, add the setting, Australia. There's already a certain warmth, openness, and humor associated with Australian culture. It's relaxed, it's expressive, it doesn't take itself too seriously. And Sean and Marley embody that energy perfectly. So bringing that into an interaction with Meghan created something special. It wasn't just a formal meeting, it felt like a genuine exchange. They brought a piece of their world to her, and she didn't just accept it, she engaged with it. That's why the underwear moment landed the way it did. Because it wasn't inappropriate, it wasn't awkward, it was playful. It was given with good intention, received with good humor, and shared in a way that made everyone involved feel comfortable. And let's talk about that line again. For the love of my life. That's such a small sentence, but it carries so much. It shows affection, it shows humor, it shows a willingness to be lighthearted in public. And when she jokes about renewing vows with Harry wearing them, it adds another layer. It brings him into the moment without him even being there. It's inclusive, it's fun, it's human. And people pick up on that. Because at the end of the day, what audiences respond to isn't perfection, it's relatability, it's warmth, it's authenticity. That's what makes moments stick. Think about it. Out of all the highly produced, carefully planned public appearances that happen all the time, how many of them do people actually remember? Not many. But moments like this, they stay. Because they feel real, they feel unscripted, they feel like something that could happen in real life, not just in a controlled environment. And that's the power of being present in the moment. Sean and Marley didn't overthink it. They showed up as themselves. Meghan didn't shut it down. She joined them where they were. And together, they created something that people genuinely enjoyed watching. Now, there's also something deeper here that's worth acknowledging. Joy is powerful. It sounds simple, almost obvious, but it's true. When people see genuine happiness, it affects them. It lifts something. It creates a sense of connection even through a screen. Sean and Marley bring that joy naturally. Meghan, in that moment, amplified it. And the result was something that cut through the usual noise. No controversy, no tension, no over-analysis needed. Just a moment of people being kind, being funny, and being present with each other. And that's rare enough that it stands out. It's also a reminder that influence doesn't always have to be loud or dramatic to be impactful. Sometimes it's in the small moments, a shared joke, a thoughtful response, a genuine hug. Those things matter more than people realize. And for Sean and Marley, that moment is something they'll carry with them, not just because of who Meghan is, but because of how she made them feel in that interaction. Seen, appreciated, welcomed. That's what people remember. And for viewers watching, it becomes something they connect to as well. Because everyone understands what it feels like to be acknowledged, to be taken seriously, to have your joy reflected back to you. That's what happened here. And that's why it worked so well. It wasn't about status, it wasn't about image, it was about connection. Now, let's circle back to the beginning. You watched that clip and maybe you left. Maybe you smiled, maybe you just thought, that was nice. And honestly, that's enough. Not everything needs to be dissected or turned into something bigger. Sometimes a good moment is just a good moment. But when you look a little closer, you start to see why it resonated. You start to see the layers, the authenticity, the ease, the mutual respect. Sean and Marley brought something genuine. Meghan responded with something genuine. And the result was something people wanted to watch, share, and remember. That's the kind of content that lasts, not because it's perfect, but because it's real. And in a world that often feels overproduced and overly complicated, real is powerful. So whether you came for the pasta, stayed for the laughter, or are still thinking about that unexpected gift, one thing is clear. Moments like this matter. They remind people of what connection looks like. They show that joy doesn't have to be manufactured, and they prove that sometimes the most memorable interactions come from the most unexpected places, even if that place happens to involve a pair of very colorful underwear. And honestly, that just makes it better. You want more? Fine. Let's keep feeding the algorithm like it's a needy houseplant. What really stands out here is how fearless Sean and Marley are in their expression. A lot of people, when meeting someone high profile, suddenly shrink themselves. They edit their personality in real time, soften their humor, play it safe. Sean and Marley did the exact opposite. They amplified who they are. And instead of that backfiring, it worked. That's a lesson most people ignore because it's uncomfortable. Being fully yourself carries risk, but moments like this prove that when it lands hard. There's also something quietly powerful about how Meghan handled the balance of humor and respect. Because, let's be real, that gift could have gone left in the wrong hands. It could have been met with awkward laughter or worse, subtle shutdown energy. But she understood the intention immediately. She didn't make them feel silly for it. She elevated it into a shared joke. That's emotional intelligence in action. Not the buzzword version people throw around online, but the real thing. Reading the room, reading the people, and choosing connection over control. And then there's the ripple effect. Moments like this don't just live in that one interaction. They travel. They get clipped, shared, rewatched, talked about. Someone somewhere who's having a rough day stumbles across it and gets a quick laugh. Someone else sees it and feels inspired to be a little more open, a little less guarded. That's how seemingly small, joyful moments turn into something bigger. Not because they're trying to, but because they're honest enough to resonate. And finally, let's appreciate the absurd beauty of it all. Out of everything that could have come out of that meeting, it's humor, warmth, and a completely unexpected gift that people remember most. Not titles, not status, not formality, just people being human with each other. There's something almost poetic about that. Strip everything else away, and what sticks is laughter, kindness, and a story you'll still be telling long after the moment passes. Not bad for a day that included a pair of very bold underwear. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.